Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Yantla Pravishtam Vishnupa Paramahamsa Stotara Sata Shishimad Divine Grace Shri Bhakti Vedanta Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki. Yantla Pravishtam Vishnupa Paramahamsa Stotara Sata Shishimad Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Thakur Prabhupada Ki. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. From Sekaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Shri Mathura Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Shri Navadvi Mayapur Dham Ki Jai. Ganga Mai Ki Jai. Yamuna Mai Ki Jai. Tulasidev Maharani Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan Yagya Ki Jai. ISKCON 50th anniversary Ki Jai. Nitai Gaura Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. We're going to read from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, from chapter 13, the Lord's dancing at Ratha Yatra. Hari Hari. Gaura Hari. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Janulambita Bhujau Kanakavadato Sankirtanai Kapitarao Kamalaya Taksho Vishvambaro Dvijavaro Yugadharma Palo Bande Jagat Priya Karo Karunavataro Vairagya Vidya Nija Bhakti Yoga Shikshartameka Purusha Purana Sri Krishna Chaitanya Shariradhari Kripambodhiryastamaham Prapadyam Anarpitam Charim Chirat Karunayavatirnakalo Samarpayutumunnato Jwalarasam Swabhakti Shriyam Haripurata Sundara Dhyutikadamba Sandipita Sadahridaya Spurates Vasachinandana Jaya Jaya Mahaprabhu Sri Krishna Chaitanya Tanghara Charana Shrita Saivadadanya Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So, are we supposed to start from the beginning of the chapter? Or? Yes? Okay. Thank you. All right. Chapter 10, the ecstatic dancing of the Lord at Ratha Yatra. A summary of this chapter is given by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur in his Amrita Pravaha Bhashya as follows. After bathing early in the morning, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw the deities Jagannath, Baladeva and Subhadra get aboard their 3 cars. This function is called Pandu Vijay. At that time, King Prataparudra took a broom with a golden handle and began to cleanse the road. Lord Jagannath took permission from the goddess of fortune and then started in the car for the Gundicha temple. The road to the temple led along a broad sandy beach, and on both sides of the road were residential quarters. houses and gardens. Along that road, the servants called Gaudas began to pull the cars. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu divided the Sankirtan part into 7 divisions, with 2 mridangas in its divisions. There were altogether 14 mridangas. While performing kirtan, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu exhibited various symptoms of transcendental ecstasy. And Jagannath and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu exchanged their feelings very blissfully. When the cars reached the place known as Balagandhi, the devotees offered the deities simple food. At this time, in a nearby garden, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his devotees took a brief rest from the dancing. Text 1. Sajiyat Krishna Chaitanya Shiratagre Manartaya Yanasi Jagatam Chitram Jagannatopi Vismitaha. May the Supreme Personality of God as Sri Krishna Chaitanya, who danced in front of the car of Sri Jagannath, be all glorified. By seeing his dancing, not only was the whole universe held in wonder, but Lord Jagannath himself became very much astonished. Text 2. Jaya Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. All glories to Sri Krishna Chaitanya and Prabhu Nityananda. All glories to Advaita Chandra. And all glories to the devotees of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. All glories to the listeners of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. All of you. Please hear the description of the dancing of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at the Ratha Yatra festival. His dancing is very enchanting. Please hear of it with great attention. The next day, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his personal associates got up in the dark and attentively took their early morning bath. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his personal associate then went to see the ceremony of Pandu Vijay. During this ceremony, Lord Jagannath leaves his throne and gets up into the car. King Prataparudra in person, as well as his entourage, allowed the Pandu Vijay ceremony to be seen by all the associates of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his prominent devotees, Advaita Acharya, Nityananda Prabhu and others, were very happy to observe how Lord Jagannath began the Ratha Yatra. The very strong-built Dayitas, carriers of Jagannath deity, were as powerful as drunken elephants. They manually carried Lord Jagannath from the throne to the car. While carrying the deity of Lord Jagannath, some of the Dayitas took hold of the shoulders of the Lord and some caught his lotus feet. The Lord Jagannath deity was bound at the waist by a strong, thick rope made of silk. From 2 sides, the Daita caught hold of this rope and raised the deity. Strong puffed cotton pads called tulis were spread out from the throne to the altar, and the heavy deity of Lord Jagannath was carried from one pillow-like pad to the next by the Dayitas. While the Dayitas carried the heavy Jagannath deity from one pad to the next, some of the pads broke and the cotton contents floated into the air. When they broke, they made a heavy cracking sound. Lord Jagannath is the maintainer of the whole universe. Who can carry him from one place to another? The Lord moves by his personal will just to perform his pastimes. While the Lord was transported from the throne to the car, tumultuous sounds were made on various musical instruments. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was chanting, Manima, Manima, but he could not be heard. Purport. The word Manima is used to address a respectable person in Orissa. Lord Jagannath was being respectfully addressed by Sri Chaitanya in this way. While the Lord was being carried from the throne to the car, King Prataparudra personally engaged in the Lord's service by cleaning the road with a broom that had a golden handle. The king sprinkled the road with sandalwood-scented water. Although he was the owner of the royal throne, he engaged in menial service for the sake of Lord Jagannath. Although the king was the most exalted, respectable person, still he accepted menial service for the Lord. Therefore, became suitable candidate for receiving the Lord's mercy. Upon seeing the king engaged in such menial service, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became very happy. Simply by rendering this service, the king received the mercy of the Lord. Purport. Unless one receives the mercy of the Lord, he cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead or engage in his devotional service. Atapi tedeva padam buja dvaya prasada alesha nugrihita evahi janati tattvam bhagavam mahimno nachanya eko pichiram bichimbam. Bhagavatam 10:14-29. A devotee who has received even a small fraction of the mercy of the Lord can understand him. Others may engage in theoretical speculation to understand the Lord, but they cannot know anything about him. Although Maharaj Prataparudra was very eager to see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Lord refused to see him. But when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw the king engaged in menial service for Lord Jagannath, he became very happy. Thus the king became eligible to receive Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy. If a devotee accepts Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as the universal Guru and Lord Jagannath as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, he is benefited by the combined mercy of Krishna and Guru. That is stated by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his instruction to Rupa Goswami. Brahmanda Brahmite Kon Bhagyavan Jeev Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Bij. The seed of devotional service fructifies and becomes a transcendental creeper. Finally, it reaches the lotus feet of the Lord in the spiritual sky. This seed is attained by the mercy of the Lord and the Guru. By the Lord's mercy, one gets the association of a bona fide Guru. And by the mercy of the Guru, one gets a chance to render devotional service. Devotional service, the science of Bhakti Yoga, carries one from this material world to the spiritual world. Umagyana timirandasya gyananjana sarakaya chakshuru militam yena tasmai shri gurave namaha. I was born in the darkest of ignorance, and my spiritual master Srila Prabhupada opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. Therefore I offer my humble respectful obeisance unto him. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So this wonderful pastime of the Lord's dancing in front of the car of Ratha Yatra is very wonderful. I mean, we heard yesterday, reading from Chaitanya Charitamrita, about how King Prataparudra was so eager to attain the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to have his personal darshan, and the Lord denied him on the pretext that he's a king. King means, generally speaking, a materialistic man, just interested in money and wine and women and all these things. So on that pretext, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu avoided meeting him. Although he knew that he was a great devotee, just to maintain the external social, proper etiquette, that a renounced person is not interested in seeing mundane people just for the sake of seeing them, no? So anyway, but here we see that because King Prataparudra, he got up, he got down from his chariot and started to sweep the floor in front of the car of Lord Jagannath. So that attracted very much the attention of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that this king is so humble, he doesn't care of being the king, he just accepts himself as a menial servant of Lord Jagannath. So Lord Chaitanya looked at him with a merciful glance, and that was his life success. Many times we hear that darshan of the deities doesn't mean, I'm going to go see the deities. How much we can see with this materialize. Rather, we want to be seen by the deities and to be blessed by them. So that's the proper attitude, and having the darshan of the Lord. So King Prataparudra, he was so fortunate that he received the mercy of Lord Jagannath and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, both. So, and then more amazing things happened during this chapter. The Lord divided in 7 groups the Sankirtan party. In each group, there were 2 mirdangas, altogether 14 mirdangas, and some devotee chanting, other dancing. And he will go from group to group, encouraging everyone to perform Sankirtan. But then he performed a miracle. He expanded himself to be in the 7 group at the same time. And he was dancing. Those groups were separate from each other. They couldn't see each other. They were far away from each other. So each group thought the Lord is favoring only us. He's staying with us only. Only few devotees could notice this miracle. And amongst them was King Prataparudra. He mentioned to one devotee, I think Kashi Mishra, he mentioned to Kashi Mishra, look, Lord Chaitanya is dancing the 7 groups simultaneously. So then he understood that he got the mercy of Sri Chaitanya. Unless one gets the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, can't see his pastimes and performed through his internal potency. So that went on, and then Lord Chaitanya decided to make the 7 groups into one. And he started to dance in the middle of them. So to protect the Lord from the crowd, the devotees made 3 circles around the Lord. The first one led by Lord Nityananda, another second group by other devotees, Govinda and others. And the third group, the third circle, surrounded the other 2 circles, was King Prataparudra and his assistants, ministers, and others. No? So the Lord was dancing a devastating dance. he will go like a whirlwind, have they seen this fire that sometimes people, they whirl around the fire and they look like a circle, but it's not a circle actually, it's just one, but they go so fast, it looks like a circle. So Lord Chaitanya was dancing in such a way that like many Chaitanyas dancing at the same time. And suddenly he started to manifest the 8 ecstatic symptoms of ecstasy. His body erupted in what they call goose pimple, and his body turned from white to pinkish, and the hair of his body still in that end. He resembled the silk cotton tree with thorns all over it. And his teeth start chattering so much that people thought that he may, lose his teeth or something. And and he was crying in ecstasy. All the people around it got wet from his tears. And water was coming not only from his eyes, from nostrils too, and foam was coming out of his mouth. One very expert devotee in testing rasa, he collected that foam and was drinking it. Shubhananda was his name, an associate of Lord Chaitanya. So, and the dancing went on widely, and King Prataparudra was in ecstasy witnessing this wonderful dancing of Lord Chaitanya, but in front of him was Srivas Pandit, and he was obstructing his vision from the dancing. So King Prataparudra minister, I can't remember his name, Harish Chandana, he noticed that, so he went to Srivas Thakur and tried to push him, move him, to the side so the king could see the dancing without any obstruction. But Srivas Pandit wasn't so much ecstasy. He was so absorbed in the dancing of the Lord, he just felt somebody pushing. So he pushed back, And the pushing went on and back, And then Srivas Thakur became angry that somebody was disturbing his ecstasy. And he looked at the minister and slapped him on the face. Very angry, So the minister wanted to say something, in protest, but then the king called him. King Patapatra called him, come, don't say anything. You are very fortunate you got the mercy of Srivas Pandit, Srivas Thakur. You got the touch. I wish I could have got that mercy instead of you. So don't protest. You are very fortunate to be touched by the pure devotees of the Lord. And even by slapping was a great mercy, There is one pastime about slapping. Gadadhar Pandit's guru, who remember his name? No, Gadadhar Pandit's guru. Pundarik Vidyanidhi, that's him. Once he went to visit the temple of Lord Jagannath, and he saw that they were putting a new dress on Lord Jagannath, but they didn't wash it. It was very, very starchy, so it was like very hard, So he became a little critical in his mind that what they are very negligent doing this service, so he was like a little disturbed about it. So in his mind he was, critical. That night he had a dream, and Lord Jagannath appeared in a dream and told him, do not criticize my servant. With all their faults, I accept their service, and they are dear to me. So don't criticize them even in your mind. And Lord Jagannath starts slapping him in the dream. When he woke up, all his cheeks were swollen, red. The devotee will ask him, what happened? What happened to you? Lord Jagannath's mercy. He didn't give much detail. Anyway, so then Lord Chaitanya, he asked Swarup Damodar to chant some song. And Swarup Damodar started to chant a song about, he understood the mind of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, so he knew what song to sing for his pleasure. He was singing a song about how Krishna and Radharani met at Kurukshetra after long separation. So the song goes like that. Seite parananata painu yatalagi madana dahane jurigenu. Now I have gained the Lord of my life, in the absence of whom I was being burned by Cupid and was withering away. Purport. This song refers to Srimati Radharani's meeting with Krishna at the holy place of Kurukshetra, where Lord Sri Krishna and his brother and sister came to visit when there was a solar eclipse. It is a song of separation from Krishna. When Radharani met Krishna at Kurukshetra, she remembered his intimate association in Vrindavan, and she thought, now I have gained the Lord of my life. In his absence, I was being burned by the arrow of Cupid, and thus I was withering away. Now I have my life again. So, when Krishna met the inhabitants of Vrindavan at Kurukshetra, in a nearby forest, he had intimate meetings with the gopis and Radharani. He was feeling guilty that he left them for so long. So he wanted to touch the lotus feet of Radharani to ask forgiveness for that. But Radharani stopped him. She said, what are you doing? You are not guilty of anything. You was doing your duties. You were freeing your parents from Kamsa's prison. You were killing the demons. You were performing your duty as a Kshatriya. If anybody here is criminal, is me. I'm unchaste because I survived your separation. That makes me unfaithful. So once Radharani told her friend Lalita or Vishaka, I can't live anymore without Krishna's association. So let me die here in the land of Vrindavan. I want to die embracing a Kadamba tree. And then make my grave here in Vrindavan. And I'm sure when Krishna will hear about my death, he will come immediately. But when he will see me dead, he will be very unhappy. So I can't die. No, I can't give any unhappiness to Krishna. If my suffering gives happiness to Krishna, let me suffer forever. So that's the transcendental mood of love between Radha and Krishna. Out of this world, of course. It's like gold and iron. They both look like metal, but there is no comparison between the value of gold to iron. So in the same way, all this material world is a perverted reflection of the spiritual world. Everything we see here is contaminated by the three modes of nature. But Krishna's love with his pure devotees is completely out of this world. It's completely divine, in pure goodness. So then in that eclipse, solar eclipse, Lord Krishna told the gopis, I have no means to repay your love for me. So be satisfied with your own activities. Krishna himself could not repay their love for him. Mm-hmm. So he said, in Kali Yuga I will appear and I will roll the ground chanting your names. Mm-hmm. In order to reciprocate your love for me. Mm-hmm. So sometimes Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will chant the names of the gopis. And you know the story, once he was doing that and he was corrected by one proud student and the Lord became angry, then he decided to take sannyas after that. Mm-hmm. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's relationship with Lord Jagannath is one of, in the mood of Radharani and Jagannath as Krishna. That was their mood between each other. So although they are one and the same, isn't this the Lord himself, but he's playing with himself. One philosopher, I think Hegel, he said about God, he's for himself and by himself. So everything he does for his own transcendental pleasure. And he also pleases his devotees too. He takes pleasure in encouraging his devotees. So when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was dancing in front of the car of Lord Jagannath, sometime when this dancing was going on, the three car came to stand still, point. Even Baladeva and Subhadra were in ecstasy, witnessing the dancing of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And when the Lord asked Swarup Damodar to sing the song, so he started to again dance slowly and the car started to move along. Sometime he will go behind the car and the car, Lord Jagannath not seeing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he stopped the car. Only when Lord Chaitanya will come, dance again in front of the car will move. Or sometime Lord Chaitanya will push the car with his own head, Sometimes they will bring even elephant to push the car, they can move it. So the car wasn't moving by the strength of those who were pulling the car, but rather by the free desire, sweet desire of the Lord. When the first Ratha Yatra happened in San Francisco in 1967, Shyam Sundar Prabhu, he carved the first Jagannath deities in ISKCON. And the devotees start worshipping those deities in a very rudimentary way. They didn't know much rules and regulation. And what they will do is that any food they will cook, they will put it in front of Lord Jagannath in the pot itself, no offering place, just the pot, and they will offer it that way. And the way they offer is that all of them bowed at the same time, saying the prayers, offering them. So one day, the rice got burned. The bottom of the pot was sticking, burned. So they thought, should we offer it or not? Well, the top part is not burned. Maybe we should offer it. So they put the pot in front of the deity of Lord Jagannath, And all of them bowed down, praying, to offer the food. And suddenly they hear the very tremendous sound. They got up and they saw the pot on the floor. Lord Jagannath kicked the pot, to the floor. I mean, it was a heavy pot, you can't move it so easily. So that means Lord Jagannath decided to appear in ISKCON. Last night I told the story. I don't know how many of you heard it through the net, or the story of Mahaprasad of Lord Jagannath. When Bhaktivinoda Thakur asked for the Lord to send the ray of Vishnu and Srila Bhaktisiddhanta was born, he gave him the name Bimala Prasad. Bimala is a deity of Durga in the Jagannath temple, inside the Jagannath temple, behind the Jagannath. And all the Mahaprasad coming from the altar, it is offered first to her. And the reason behind that is that she prayed to the Lord to have his Mahaprasad. After some incident, Narad Muni went to Vaikunta, he got the Mahaprasad, he gave some to Lord Shiva. Anyway, she also prayed to the Lord and meditated on the Lord, pleased the Lord. So she asked that not only me want to have your Mahaprasad, but all the living entities should have your Mahaprasad. So the Lord promised Goddess Durga that when I will come as Daru Brahma, Jagannath, you will be the first one to have my Mahaprasad. And then everybody else, doesn't matter, even Chandala or whatever, even dogs can get my Mahaprasad. So now, why only the people of Jagannath Puri or India can get this Mahaprasad? He promised her, Goddess Durga, Bimala, that all living entities should have it. So Krishna made the arrangement that Srila Bhaktisiddhanta's dearest disciple, Srila Prabhupada, came to the West, established the Ratha Yatras festival all over the world, so that all the Mahaprasad of Lord Jagannath can be given to everyone all over the world. Jagannath Swami ki, Bimala Devi ki. So, then, while Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was dancing in front of Lord Jagannath, he started also to recite verses and glorifying the Lord. One of the verses was, Namo Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha Jagatitaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namaha. This is from the Vishnu Purana. So now every time I pay obeisance to the Jagannath deities, I recite this verse because Lord Chaitanya recited it. And he's the friend of the universe, Jagatitaya, the well-wisher of the whole universe. So it's very appropriate. But he also started to recite one verse, like mundane poetry from Kalidas. He wrote a book about Shakuntala. You know Shakuntala, the story of Shakuntala. Many of and the verse was speaking. She was speaking to the king, her husband, that yes, I'm meeting you here again at the palace, but I miss very much when we were living in the forest next to the river, under the Vetasi tree. That will make me more happy. So she was remembering the time they had together in the forest. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was reciting that verse again and again. Devotees got confused. They could not understand why Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was chanting some mundane poetry about some mundane love. But Rupa Goswami was there. And by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, he could understand the mind of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he was staying at the hut of Haridas Thakur, at the seashore. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to visit them. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very tall. So he saw on the roof of the hut, a palm leaf. So he took it and he saw the writing of Rupa Goswami. When Rupa Goswami, Haridas Thakur came, they were taking their bath, noon bath at the sea. They offered, dandavat obeisance to the Lord, flat. And the Lord approached Rupa Goswami smiling and lovingly, he slapped him, lovingly, softly. How could you understand my mind? And he showed the writing to Swarup Damodar and Ramananda Roy, other associates. And he asked them, how is it possible that he could understand my mind? And they said both. Surely because you gave him your mercy. That's the only way he could do that. And he said, yes, when we met first time at Prayag, I gave him my mercy. At that time, Rupa Goswami composed this very wonderful and famous verse, no? No. What is the verse? Who knows the verse? Anybody remember the verse? Composed by Rupa Goswami in that meeting? Huh? Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gora Tuise Namaha. You are the same Krishna in different color. But you came to give something that even Krishna didn't give, and that is Krishna Prema. You are the most munificent of all avatars. So, and the writing of Rupa Goswami, he was explaining what was the mood of Sri Chaitanya by reciting this mountain poetry. And Lord Chaitanya, Rupa Goswami wrote about Radha and Krishna meeting at Kurukshetra. And Radharani speaking to Krishna. We are the same lovers and we are meeting again. You are the same Krishna, I am the same Radha. And it's very pleasing to see you here. But I'm not so happy to see you dressed as a prince with chariots and elephants around and horses. And I very much would like to see you rather in Vrindavan, next to the Yamuna River, under the Kadamba tree, playing the raga on your fifth note. That will make me very happy. So that was the internal mood of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he tried to disguise it in that way, but Rupa Goswami could detect, understand immediately. So that's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu selected him to be the head of our Sampradaya. So that's why we are called Rupanugas, because he actually revealed to the world the inner feelings of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I mean, Ratayatra was there much before Lord Chaitanya, but Lord Chaitanya is the first one to reveal to the whole world the internal meaning of Sri Ratayatra. And that is the desire to take Jagannath Krishna back to Vrindavan, which represents the Gundicha temple. So that's the inner mood, inner feeling of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The external mood, of course, Lord Chaitanya giving mercy to everyone. Just by seeing him riding on the car, everybody got purified, got liberated. Whoever pulled the car, whoever took the Mahaprasad, everybody gets liberation. Everybody gets, transcendental love for the Supreme Lord. But the internal mood, that's for devotees. For devotees who are eager to understand both the external and the internal mood of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The external mood is to give mercy to all fallen souls through the Harinam Sankirtan, the chanting of the holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And the internal mood is to test the mellow of his love, as Radha for Krishna. In that transcendental competition between Jagannath and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Radharani, while pulling the car and standing still and moving back and forth, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came out victorious. He showed the world that even Krishna, without the love of his pure devotees, the gopis, he is not fully satisfied. So there are these two, Swakiya and Parakiya. In this 14 days that Lord Jagannath doesn't give darshan to the public, he's staying with his wife, Goddess Lakshmi. In the Jagannath temple, there is a deity called Sri Devi. She is Lakshmi ji. So when after the Snana Yatra, they put them together, and so he giving, special attention to his wife for 14 days. But after that, he asked permission from her to ride on the chariot. And well, the whole full pastime in relation to that. But let's hear from you. If you have any comment or questions, please do. Hare Krishna. Yes. Go ahead. You need a mic. Yeah. Anybody has the mic around? Oh.
Thank you, Maharaj. You were reading about how when Lord Chaitanya was dancing, when the whole group was together, they formed like a big circle and like inner circle and so forth. The first time I was at the Jagannath Puri Rath Yatra in 2001, Radhanath Swami was there with like 2,000 devotees. So it was organized in such a way, there was police protection like around the whole ISKCON group. So it was like just one huge ISKCON group, like about 2,500 devotees. They were encircled by police. And then within that circle, there was another like smaller circle. And then in the center, there was like an intimate circle of like Radhanath Swami's disciples. And he was dancing in the middle. And I'd never seen anyone dance like that.
No, he danced ecstatically. I've seen him dancing.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was just like seeing Lord Chaitanya.
Even the people of the priest of the Jagannath temple, they said that was the best kirtan ever, in the Rath Yatra parade in Puri. So that shows us that, Prabhupada's empowering his servants, to continue the line of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mood, of ecstatic emotion, of dancing and chanting for the pleasure of the Lord. That's the most important thing, this attitude that why we're chanting, why we are doing the dancing, only to please the Lord. That's it. Not to attract anybody else's attention, but to please the Lord. If the Lord is pleased, Kimpat Patarudra, he did this manual service of sweeping just to please Lord Jagannath. Nothing else. And that mood attracted the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So the humble mood of menial service to please the Lord, that's the secret in the spiritual advancement. That's the secret. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, sometime he will do kirtan with his disciple, and sometime he stopped all musical instrument. He said, just chant without any instrument. I want you to become attached to the holy name, not so much to the music. That's all right to please the Lord, but you should be attached to the holy name. Sometime he will ask somebody who doesn't have a good voice to sing. And the devotee will not understand because he liked the mood of that devotee, not so much the good voice or anything like that. Or somebody can have both, that's okay, to say. the proper mood too is important. But just to have the good voice and not the proper mood is not the real thing. So it's important to follow strictly the four regulative principle and chant 16 rounds and have the proper humble mental attitude to do this service or any service for the Lord. It's very important. It's not just a show to please the public. No, it's to please the Lord. And if the Lord is pleased, everybody will be pleased. Naturally, isn't? Any other comment? Questions? Jai. Haribol. There's one question behind you.
I just wanted all the devotees to know that we have a very good article in the Argonaut today on the Rath Yatra for Los Angeles. So we have a big article with a very nice picture, so everyone should take some time and look at it. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Yes.
Vrindavan Leela, it is the love of devotees for
Yes.
Krishna?
Actually, it's very interesting. The Puri, Jagannath Puri itself and Rath Yatra also included, they have both things. The Aishvarya, the opulence and the grandeur of Dwarka, but at the same time have also the sweetness of Vrindavan. Simultaneously, both things are there. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will see Jagannath at the temple, he will not see Jagannath. He will see Shri Nandanandana, Krishna, playing the flute. He will reveal to him. During the Snana Yatra, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could not see Lord Jagannath, he went to visit another temple. He was feeling a lot of separation from Lord Jagannath. So he went to another temple called Alarnath. It is called Alalanath. It's on the hill. It is said that this deity was installed by Lord Brahma himself. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta made renovation to that temple and made a lake, and he called it Radhakunda, the lake. And the reason is that when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to visit that temple, the deity is Narayan, is four-armed form of the Lord. Why then, feeling separation from Krishna, he will go to that temple with four-armed form as Narayan? There is a secret there. Has to do with the pastime of Krishna hiding from the gopis. And Krishna wanted to play a joke on the gopis, so he took four-armed form and sat on a rock under the shade of a tree. So the gopis, Narayan, they paid obeisance. Can you please tell us if you have seen Krishna passing through here? And Narayan, Krishna, smiled and said, this way. So the gopis were going this way. But Radharani, she was not easily cheated. She looked at him with so much intense bhava or love that his two extra arm melted away. So when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to see that deity, Alalanath, he will show him his two-armed form playing the flute. He paid obeisance to this deity with so much love and fervor that the heat from his body melted the stone, and the form of his body was carved in the stone on the floor. If you go to that temple, you will see the form of Sri Chaitanya carved in the stone, So yes, all these pastimes have very much to do with Vrindavan and the mood of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as Radharani and desiring to take Jagannath Krishna back to Vrindavan. That's the whole mood, the internal mood of Rath Yatra. You're quite correct. Hare Krishna. All right, thank you very much. Shri Ratha Yatra ki jai, Shri Jagannath Swami ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki, Gaur Premanandi.